Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Hope and Coffee. I'm Hope and Coffee, and I have my little barista hamster behind me, and I actually have a puppy in my lap that you are unable to see, but he was fussing a moment ago, and I thought that it would just be a nice idea to bring him over here and satisfy his little attention needing needs. But anyway, today's particular episode is about people who lack social intelligence and ways you can kind of identify that, or ways you can even identify if you've accidentally done it in the past as well. And I ran across this article and I thought it was kind of important just simply because some people don't often realize social cues. And I was talking to a person not too long ago, and I was realizing that as I was talking to them, that they weren't picking up on social cues very well. And I don't think it wasn't intentional. You can often tell when it's not intentional. And so, of course, I wasn't going to bring it to their attention that I thought it was kind of rude. It was just something more after the fact that I was just like, I don't think they were really understanding what I was like trying to say, or, they were doing certain things that I thought was a little inappropriate, or, like I said, kind of overstepping boundaries. And those are signs of a person who can lack some social intelligence. So I found an article, like I said, that again was on Google, and I just kind of wanted to share some of the points. So the first one was asking about money. And now this is not asking for money, so to speak, but this is about asking about money. Like, how much does a person make? How much does a person spend on an apartment? How much is this and how much is that? And how much did you spend on your car? Those sorts of things are usually a sign of lower social intelligence, because for a lot of people, it really doesn't matter. That money is just an ends to a means. But for the people that it really matters to, they usually qualify a social status with an amount of money, and that's usually a sign of lacking a social intelligence. And social IQ is actually pretty important in the business world as well. Now, it's fine if you want to ask for the salary of a position. That is completely understandable. And I think that should also be very transparent in the career world. But there are certain areas and there are certain things like, talk to your coworkers about their salaries as well. I work in an area where my coworkers' salaries are very clearly noted. So I know what I make, what I can make, what the possibility is to make. And so it gives me incentive to stay where I am, to keep doing as well as I can do, to try to be a good performer, and with the hopes that I can grow and possibly move up in career ladders. So it provides a lot of really great optics. So if you're not in a position that does that, those are kinds of really good positions to look for if you can. But someone who's constantly asking about money, like, I'm not talking about like, hey, I love your skirt. It's like, yeah, I got it for $5 from TJ Maxx. That's not saying that their social IQ is low. But someone who's constantly saying, so, hey, I like your car. How much did you pay for it? Hey, your apartment's kind of small. I bet you pay too much for it. People who are constantly bringing up costs and making like those sorts of comments are usually lower in social intelligence. Number two is asking why someone is single. Now, that can be a lot of different factors. It could be by choice. It could be not by choice. It could be that they're picky. It could be that they're just recently broken up with someone. The thing is it's not super intelligent to ask someone why they're single. Just like maybe a relationship just didn't work. And why they're still single is also not a great question. I am still single. Nobody has to ask. I am still single because I am super picky. Because also the dating pool that is in the area that I'm in does not really suit my hopes of a potential partner. So when I meet individuals who I feel like could potentially fall into my potential partner category, they usually weed themselves out in some sort of weird way. So, you know what? Still single. But That would be another sign of lacking social intelligence. Number three would be asking about a person's weight. Now, I know we get a lot of people talking about body positivity and all those sorts of things. That's fine. But also, we don't want to just ask about a person's weight unless we're in a particular place where it's if we're a personal trainer and someone comes to us with goals. Maybe we need to ask, okay, what have you been doing? I am a personal trainer, so I have needed to ask, okay, so what brought you to this point? Those sorts of things. It's valid in certain situations to find out if a person's choices in life have brought them to where they are. But if you are in a social situation, I just wouldn't bring it up. It's just it's not appropriate in those sort of social interactions. Number four is asking about a person's belief on religious or non-beliefs in religion. So belief or non-belief in religion. And honestly, once you get to know a person, maybe then it's fine. But this is in a more of a social situation, like especially like at work. If it's not super clear someone's maybe leanings in their religion or, what they believe in, then frequently it's not always a good thing to ask what someone's inclination is. And could be a sign of lacking that social intelligence. So number five is repeatedly asking for money. So this one is different than number one, asking about money. Number five is repeatedly asking for money. A person who cannot manage their own money well and is constantly asking you or other people around them for money is also a person lacking social intelligence. They are a person who apparently are not very good with their money, but also they don't seem to realize the burden that they're placing on other people to try to cover whatever they're spending this money on. So that is also an issue. Number six would be the question of why are you so sensitive? Not only is this a terrible question to ask anybody of why are they so sensitive, but that is just, it's very inappropriate. A person has the right to feel any way that they feel. A person may wear their heart on their sleeve. I am a very sensitive person and can get emotional easily over different topics. And sometimes it depends on the people I'm around as well. Some people I feel a little more sensitive around than other people. So it's really kind of dependent. But it is not socially intelligent to ask people why they're so sensitive. Number seven would be pointing out a person's appearance, just making comments like complimenting is fine, but going through a person's either hair or makeup or outfit choice or color palette or what have you is not appropriate in most situations. Unless you are a fashion designer, and even then, probably still not appropriate because they have chosen to wear what they have chosen to wear. And that's a hard one too in a lot of situations. But the thing is sometimes you're at the store and you see someone who you're like, ooh, maybe they got dressed in the dark. The thing is you're not walking up to them saying, hey, did you get dressed in the dark? If you do that, that is super inappropriate. That is lacking any sort of social intelligence. But if you think it in your head, it's going to happen. Sometimes you just have those thoughts that come in your head and go right out. But finally, number 8 is why do you still live with your parents? That was just a question that was on the list. And honestly, still, a question that we don't need to ask people in today's age. We're at a point in time where housing is incredibly hard to afford for a lot of people. People have had to move back in with their parents who have had their house for 20 or 30 years at this point, and just trying to make ends meet in that respect. So it's really an appropriate question to ask people why they still live with their parents. If you are potentially dating someone, maybe that's a question for later down the road, but asking them right off the bat could be a bit of a deal breaker, just depending on their situation and what got them there. So I would tread carefully, and that is the end of my list. But until next time, I will see you all on the next page. Have a great one.